Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're finally back. We're back to a full schedule. Markets are open for most of this week. The markets are closed for January 9th. President Carter died. He was an old one. I'm awkward when it comes to that, but he made it. He had a good run, right? So markets are closed 9th in honor of him. But we will we're going to break down the market in general. We will look at the news. We'll talk about the dollar, Bitcoin, the S&P, the Nasdaq, Grandpa Dow, and the Russell. After that, I'll jump into the chat. We'll call out some tickers and we'll break all of those down. But let's first we're gonna rock and roll right here. Looking at the news, just pulling it up to see if we kind of had anything going on this week. PMI tomorrow, and really I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on the red here. PMI tomorrow, balance of trade and jolts probably not gonna do anything. ISM PMI. Let's see. Employment change on Wednesday. FOMC minutes will probably have a little bit of action there on Wednesday. Markets are closed Thursday. So we will have the Fed speaking. Nothing too wild I would be too concerned about, as far as my swings going into that. But just know that you do have some reports, some things going on while the markets are closed. You won't be able to do that. We'll come back Friday. All right, my cursor. There we go. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment. Pretty. I don't know. I said normal week of full of excuses. Someone says, "How about them Chiefs? Their refs must have been stuck in KC." So we got a hater just because the Chiefs win all the time. The Chiefs aren't even playing. They didn't even show up because they don't care. In fact, they needed this game. Someone just broke this down to me, by the way. I don't have the up to date. They needed Denver to win to kick, I think, Cincinnati out. Anyway, if you weren't paying attention, Chiefs already there. Who do you think is going to go against the Chiefs at the Super Bowl? Is basically the question. All right, so we have the dollar as of right now, kind of a tiny bit open right here. I guess we're on a bullish run. I really thought we were going to break this thing down, but as of now, we went down, we went sideways, and now we're kind of getting back up again. I am still short the U.S. dollar. It just looks like the Japanese yen is competing with it because right now we're doing nothing. So I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Now, I originally took that trade because I was bearish the U.S. dollar. I just haven't gotten out of it because it's just in one of my zones. I don't stop out in zones. My stop is above this. So until that triggers, I'll still remain short the U.S. dollar. Again, this is a Forex play, so it's the U.S. dollar over the Japanese yen. So watching this go up could be kind of cool, and it could pan out. This is one of those times where if the dollar starts to pull back, and, it lines up, you'll still get this move to the downside. So that trade could still work out. You think this is an up week or a down week in ES? Well, I'm glad you asked because after Bitcoin, we're going to answer just that. As far as Bitcoin goes, it did come roaring back. And by roaring back, we got up to this zone right here. And right now, I almost changed it. And you guys know, maybe if you're new here, I don't like to move zones around or anything unless I am live because we do bounce at these zones a lot. And I don't want somebody to think I drew it after the fact. But I almost wanted to make this yellow and this the blue zone. I'm going to leave them the same way. But if we are looking at Bitcoin in general, let's go with just this. Oh, hang on. That was a very weird. What a stupid indicator. Not indicator. I was trying to draw a parallel channel. I guess we'll just. There we go. I don't know why I didn't use it to begin with. We're highlighting these. What is this? Got some action here. I got a new computer, so there's a lot of stuff I still have to set up. I just want to make that a little bit brighter. All right. So as we're looking right here, Bitcoin very sideways. So I would keep an eye on that. So let's see if we break down, if we break above or below that range. So if you're in MicroStrategy, if you're in Mara, Riot, Hut, any of the Bitcoin tickers, that's what I would be watching right now. As far as that goes, as much as people want to hate this comment, it's still a disposable income kind of trade. So if the markets are red, hate to say it, but I do still think this is one of the first on the chopping block. And of course the Bitcoin Maximus or Maxis, is that what you guys are called? They usually hate that comment, but those people weren't buying, or they're not selling regardless whether it's up or down. So their opinion is irrelevant. What we're worried about is the people that are going to sell. Looking at the S&P, we have a little bit of a gap up, which is good because we need to turn this ship around. I was not expecting how green Friday was. Green, everything was up like it was just a new year, new day. Nothing mattered. Buy it all. We're still very much in this range we had drawn out a while back. Now, again, this is just one red candle down. This is the daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 trading sessions, 2 full weeks just inside that one day. So there was still that one sell off, and this is all the buyers could do is just kind of hold it. So still remaining in that range. I do think January is a bullish month. The way Friday took off would not surprise me if we were if this was a green week. I'm curious to see, and this is why I would be patient. So tomorrow I would hang out. I would wait. And I say this all the time, let the banks get their coffee before you go making any crazy moves, is because did Friday put us in an overbought situation where there's going to be some profit taking? All that was shorts profit taking, propped it back up, then they pile it back in, we break this thing down. Because that's scenario is very much on the table. So I would hang tight and see, did we just buy it all up, or are we just waiting to buy and then we're just kind of back on the grind up? Are we just going to sell off at this next zone or possibly this top of the range right here? I'm hanging out. I did go short Tesla. So Tesla should gap up to probably a smooth 500 tomorrow. So shout out to everybody that's long Tesla. You should be rich tomorrow morning. But hanging out. Big man's coming. He says, smart man. I appreciate that. Let's make sure I'm keeping up with all the chats. Is this Doge going? Probably not. We'll see. I do not have the expected moves because this is a new computer, so I have to download everything. So sorry, because usually on Sunday I'm going over the expected moves. I can, however, pull it up on my my phone real quick. Give me one hot second. Error. All right, let's go. We're making important changes, so I can't do it anyway. So anyway, sucks to suck, I guess. If you have my charts, I will have that when it's done. If you guys want my charts or access to it, just check out the Patreon. I got a shout out to my admin on TikTok. I don't know if she's a moderator on YouTube or not. Her name should be Blue, but Casey has absolutely been killing it. She's been putting that in the top comments down below. So if you want to check it out, should be super easy to find. Let's see. This is the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, same story. Now, I went short the NASDAQ because we actually broke that range and went down. It kind of looked like we were going to hold, kind of looked like a fake out scenario, came right back down. And so we were really struggling. And we're going to talk about the NASDAQ for a second here. Also, why there's a couple factors as to why I went short Tesla. This kind of looked like profit taking. How do I come up with the expected moves? I have some friends, and I call them and I say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Just kidding. I do have a video called Total. It should be something like Total Technical Analysis. And I talk about how you can use the charts to break down things, look at zones, look at the expected moves for the future price action. And if you watch that video, I do just watch the weekly expected moves. I don't really care for the daily or anything like that. Anyway, looking at this, though, we broke down, and then we really sent it down. Now, we came all the way down to here, right back up. Sellers still in control, brought it all the way back down again. Technically, we sold off, pushed it up, sold off, bounced back to here. So there was clearly a struggle right there. And if we just were to look at the more immediate, that's a downtrend. Now, we had 3 awesome green days in this downtrend. We're actually still inside that range. So I'm not ready to call the NASDAQ just a bullish trend yet. I think this is the signs of a reversal for at least a leg down. I still think we're crashing in March. A leg down does not mean crash, doesn't mean anything. It just means normal everyday activity. So in in theory, yeah, there's no in theory. We did break this trend line. A lot of times you'll come on here and we'll talk about a trend line and why it sucks. Because usually we're still making higher lows, and we don't have an example. Sometimes it'll break the trend line, but still be putting in a higher low. What I wouldn't do here is move the trend line to here, because now you're just selling yourself a position. Now I can line it up with these two right here, and all of a sudden things just look peachy. If I were to just do that, we're still for sure trending up. We'll see. If you find yourself doing that, then all you're doing is selling yourself a position. So not to be confused with the times I have moved the trend line, because I'm explaining, hey, that's still a higher low. If it's still a higher low, move it. If it's not, you got to delete it. Posted in YouTube stream chat. Oh, do we have the expected moves? Do I want to give those away? I don't know. Okay, so shout out to Technician. He is one of the members. Sounds like he's going to be there for life. I've yelled at him. He's come a long way. So these are the expected moves. IWM, $4.79. QQQ, $9.87. SPY, we have an $8.45 move. Tesla, we have a 53.02 move. Just kidding. 26.51. It better be $53 south. We have Meta, 18.54. Microsoft, 8.61. NVIDIA, 7.31. Amazon, 6.42. Apple, 5.71. Google, 5.20. Ford, 34 cents. Palantir, 4.72. It's weird seeing that finally calm down. Intel, 96 cents. AMD, 5.51. XLU, 3.23. Now remember, guys, this is 3.23 up or 3.23 down. This is what market makers have priced in as far as risk goes. This is everybody that has options out there right now. If GME was in here with a $5 move, this is everyone that has their money on the table for whatever reason, because Roaring Kitty posted something. Every reason, both bullish and bearish. This is the literal money on the table right now. This is what market makers are actually looking at to determine if they're at a neutral delta, which is why it's important to me, because I care when the market makers have to step in. How much stock do I put in the expected move? I make a lot of plays off of it. But you have to fully understand the expected move, what it is, why it's there, to understand the plays that I do take. Anytime we're about 1.5 standard deviations, let's say we push 1.5 up. At that point, I'm selling 2 standard deviation call spreads, more than likely. Put spreads the same. Anytime we get to that 1.5 mark, I'm selling the 2 standard deviations for that Friday's expiration. It's just a trade that I take a lot. You win a whole bunch, and then you lose some. But it's the numbers game will pan out. You win that a lot more than you lose. In fact, when I had a trading bot, that's exactly what it was. Now I have to keep my Series 7 to sell you guys that trading bot, which is why I don't have it anymore. But if you're watching this, you wouldn't need to buy it anyway. That was for the people that didn't care, didn't want to touch it. 1.5 standard deviation, it would sell SPY $2 spreads. So anyway, jumping back into the NASDAQ, I don't think this, as we're currently selling off, I don't think we're done. I think the way we sold off, kind of how we're acting, that to me, I think is more of I can't call it rip your face off rally, dead cat bounce kind of thing. Trading money and trading shares are a lot different, isn't it? You talking about Forex? Hang on, this is a Montcari. What are we talking about here? Forex versus shares? Forex and stocks? Are we talking like paper account versus real? All right, Grandpa Dow hanging out in this range. Not too worried until that breaks. When that does break, that's probably your signal as to where we're headed. So let's extend that out. As far as my biases go, man, that is a clean move down, melted down, and then we just went sideways. Every time I see this price action, we call this the Little Dipper. You got to be in my group that is proprietary. I'll explain it once you join. Just kidding. Move down, and all you can get it to do is slow down. Oftentimes, to me, I assume we're going to get that continuation. So Now I don't have a play on it right now. If I were to take a play, gun to my head, I would be short. I would not worry about going long until we broke above back here. Congrats on Tesla last week. You stood your conviction. Yeah, Tesla was amazing last week. All right. Russell hanging out, still inside that range. I wonder if the NASDAQ's going to lead the way. The NASDAQ is the only one, like, yeah, we're back in that range, but you see what we did here? We broke out of that range, stayed below that range, and someone's just praying, like, please don't do that again. They brought it back in. That's a warning sign. That is walking on a frozen pond and hearing a bunch of cracking noises. You might be fine. Maybe the ice is just settling. Have you guys ever seen Alone? That thing, ice just cracks. It sounds like thunder. Nothing to worry about because it's 40 inches thick. It could just be 4 inches thick, and you're about to, well, about to not be standing on top of it anymore. Do you put any money into mutual funds that track the S&P? No, I do not. No, there's no point. Oil is ticking up. Now, I did want to bring up oil today because that's just one more sign in recessions. I don't know if I even know the mechanic behind this, other than when we get in a recession, for some reason, oil does just go up. And I really wish I had a better. I'm sure I could find a way to sell it to you guys and explain it. But anyway, it is what it is. It just goes up. And I don't know if that's just lining up with what I think, or if it's just a coincidence. Right now, oil is pushing up. We kind of broke out of this sideways action. And I would expect that to continue. So if anybody is in USO or anything like that, you already broke that range. What's another oil ticker? Gush. Gush still a thing? Haven't traded that one in a while. I would wait for a dip buy and buy that one. Mick Lovin says, sell or hold NVIDIA before the Jensen keynote speech tomorrow at CES. It's a good question. ARS 50. Is that Arizona money? That is XOP. Thank you, Greg. That is a good one. XOP, XOM. We'll talk about the VIX in a second. Hey, hang on. To get back to this question, Forex trading versus stocks and everything. Yes, very different. Technician says, I'm sure he'll come out and say NVIDIA is overbought. No, in fact, Jensen usually comes out and tells you why you're stupid for not buying it. He's probably going to come out and tell you we found life on another planet. We're already helping them get along. You're going to find out probably just some weird stuff. He usually comes out, makes me hate my life every time he talks. It's super impressive. For now, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news. My final answer, would be I would be holding it and trailing it, which I know is usually my answer. But when it comes to things like this, there's a lot of times where I do just take it off the table. So I don't want to just give you just trail it like normal. I'd keep an eye on it, and I would trail it. You would have to keep an eye on the volatility in general. Your overnight swings are what's going to be the real risk on that. But I don't think he's going to come out and say, like, we're struggling. We don't have everything figured out. Like, what time has he ever come on stage and said that? If it was Tesla, sell it. But because it's just not how that typically trades, I think I would keep it. Jensen only knows how to hype NVIDIA up. I don't know if he's even hyping NVIDIA up. Just every time he talks, he's like, hey, it might as well be we solved world hunger. Subbed, I enjoy your voice and analysis. You enjoy my voice. You got like a real professional thumbnail there. Do you have a channel? I appreciate that. I've been told I have a radio face and voice. It's been great. Okay, so real quick, guys, when we break down these tickers, I'm going to start breaking down some other stuff for you guys. Long story short, everything we just talked about as far as futures go, kind of leaning more on the side that we're probably going to be bullish this week. But if there is a thorn in the foot, if there is just a wrench in those gears, it's going to be NASDAQ. So I just think all eyes need to be on NASDAQ. But if you have access to my charts, again, if you're on the Patreon or even a YouTube member, you have my chart layout and you have all my lines. Just know that these dash lines, these are last week's expected moves. I will update those, so don't worry about them right now. Greg says, I like TQQQ. Ooh, that could be good or bad. Welcome to the stock market. If I'm trading that, what would I need to see the NASDAQ do? Yeah, I probably wouldn't like TQQQ if this breaks this blue zone right here. Ashley Lackland, she sent me a heart puff. I think her comments were, you don't have a soul, please try to get one. Wait and see. Yeah. Again, we're fresh into the week, brand new week of the year. I mean, banks, anyone with any serious money has not been in the market. It's been a short week the last 2 weeks. Technically, this week is because of Carter, but it being holidays, they're out of town. Like they're 1 foot out the door in December. Again, on a Monday, I say let the 30 minutes pan out. Let the bankers get their coffee first, and then let that dust settle and kind of gauge things. Tomorrow more than ever. SOXL, you guys are all bullish. Am I the only one that's going to be? I was about to say, am I the only one that's going to be right? Hello, sir. Apple next week. Let's talk about some of the big ones, because if all eyes are on tech, then we need to keep an eye on Meta, Tesla, Apple, which got the brakes beat off of it. Apple is one of the most boring tickers I've ever seen in my life. It just really is. It doesn't normally move like this, but Apple sold off, gap down, sold off, gap down, sold off, just hemorrhaging. Now, overall for the bulls, probably not worried after this move up. To take that kind of move up and understand you have to take that chip on the shoulders later, everyone's going to say yes. So you really need Apple to hold this level. Let's just pull up the RSI. We're not even oversold on the. I figured the hourly for sure. 4-hour daily. 4-hour just got oversold. Hourly's been oversold, and then it went sideways, and they moved up. That's just cooling off indicators. You can call that divergence. I get it. But at the same time, when it's so oversold, what are you doing? There's just not a lot of people piling in short. So when it goes sideways, cools off indicators, EMAs start to catch up, then it's round 2. So I would watch out for that. This was news driven, right? What happened to them? Were they downgraded? Forgive me, I don't know. Walmart is a slow ticker? Yeah, Walmart's a slow and easy ticker. Scarlett, she's at the workstation right now. What's happening? Lisa says China. Okay. Production. China concerns. Okay. Is it tariffs? Because last time there was a tariff situation, they excluded Apple, which ended up being a great dip buy. Not that I would just say that now, because I think Apple's up there. I do. I know I've said that before. But oh, man, it is. I sold my Apple, what, 175? Yeah, it was 175. 3/4 of it at least. I have added back in just my normal, like, let's start chipping back in as things grow. But for those guys that weren't following along a while back, I sold half my Apple at 175. And then it sold off, popped back up again. So I sold another half of the current position, 75% total, because it was just up there. And everyone kept telling me how Warren Buffett likes it. Warren Buffett likes this Apple right here. Slow, smooth, and steady, just normal grind up. And it's like retail found out they could buy it. And then it just starts really pushing things up. There was a dividend race, and then just things started climbing back in here. The stock market crashed in 2022. Apple just took that year off, which is just more impressive if you own Apple, because everyone else is talking about how the market was down. You're over here like, yeah, I was down for a little bit. Yeah, like I checked my app like halfway through and it was down. It's not a bad year. But it does just make me nervous because it is just this giant. And if shorts were going to attack something, man, if you had any power, why wouldn't you attack Apple? But either way, currently, if I had to buy Apple, I would wait till 230. I believe their sales in China are down. Okay. Apple stock sank Thursday on news reports that consumer electronics giant cut iPhone prices in China to compete with domestic rivals such as Huawei. Huawei, right? Apple announces discount up to 500 yuan. Huh. Said that. I think that's just the beginning. I think next year is going to suck. So all that just kind of lines up. I would be curious to see what Huawei is doing anyway. Because right now, why are you buying the cheaper stuff? You're buying the cheaper stuff because money's tight. Now, you could switch to the cheaper stuff, but eventually you just can't afford anything, not even the cheaper stuff. It's kind of like in real estate. The luxury houses, they stop first. And then everything else goes. It's just, I would say Apple being one of the more premium ones, is that more like a luxury house? You know, the fun stuff goes, it's on the chopping block first. Let's check out Tesla. Now, I went short Tesla at the Type 2, which means as it hit this yellow box right here, I went short. That short position is red. So what I'm hoping tomorrow happens is this thing gaps down to 340. That would be sweet. My shorts last week did work out amazingly. Now, I had bought puts. At the end of the day, I had sold puts against it. As it pushed up, bought those puts back. So that was a bullish play, hedging the bearish play, and then I added on to the puts that I have. So all I've done is just lock in money as far as Tesla shorts go. But that position right now is currently down. News is the Chinese are not spending. Yeah, that's going to be us here in a couple months. Americans are not spending or paying their bills. Meta. Okay, so here's something I was probably going to have to make a separate video about. I probably still am after making this comment. I think I really don't like touching my investment account. I really don't. I held Meta all the way down. That last one till 90. I was in Meta, held it. The only thing I did was go nuts when it went to 90. I bought it, and it's been great. You know, everything I've added on has 6 times what I've put in there. Not to mention adding on along the way. But Meta's my top position, followed by Tesla and Nvidia. I'll probably leave Nvidia alone, but because I do think we're going to crash this year. I think this year's just going to suck. You know, and again, not 2020 style, 2022, where we go down a couple of green days, maybe a green week, and then we're kind of right back down to the red business. We'll call it 70-30 right now. Debating on selling some close. Now, typically as an option seller, I sell the 20 deltas. I'm thinking about bumping that up to on Meta and even Tesla. You're going to sell it. I'm going to sell some 40 deltas. And if they get called away, they get called away. And I'm thinking probably 30% of those positions. Netflix is going. I want to check it out. Anyway, that's gonna be it. I'm thinking I'm gonna lighten my position, and that way, if it sucks when we pull back, I'm gonna take that exact same amount and buy it right back in, trading 100 shares for possibly 130 shares. I thought everyone was bullish because Trump is going to deregulate. They can say whatever they want. Trump, and again, people love to give the presidents a way more credit than I think they should. Regardless of who you got in there, if it was your boy or not, there's still, I don't want to call him a puppet, but there's only so much they can. We have the checks and balance system for a reason, so someone's not just going in there just running amok at things. So whatever Trump's going to do, it isn't going to be tomorrow. Okay, it's not going to be January 21st or 25th. Or July 25th. Things are going to take time. And I do think the biggest thing on Trump's plate in the beginning will be a bad economy. Let's check out Netflix real quick. Uh, I mean, if that's going to sell off, it's got a long ways to go before probably anyone's worried. Netflix pulling all the way back to 750 would just be a dip buy. Powell is the true king. Isn't Powell leaving? What are my thoughts on the NVIDIA after the CEO update tomorrow? He usually likes to hype things up, even though previously in this video I said he doesn't hype things up. The way he talks is just super bullish. So as far as my NVIDIA thoughts, I think it's just hold it, enjoy the ride, but I would trail it. If Jensen comes out and says anything remotely bearish, NVIDIA's jumping off a cliff. There's not a fiber of my being that thinks he's going to do that, though. Uber seems to have bounced a little bit. Uber went zone to zone. If you're watching these little yellow boxes, we went zone to zone, 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 and zone to zone. Right now, it looks like a good short entry. Honestly, I would be short in video with my stop at 66.35. You could go 66.85 and call it $2 a share to make it easy math. And then how much you willing to risk? There's a lot of things that I think were just up on Friday because the reaction was just buy everything. Confidence was there, or shorts were just covering. Whatever it was, there was buy-side activity on Friday that we just hadn't seen. And tomorrow, let's just see when real volume comes back. Do the bankers agree, basically? Netflix is going to be speaking at CES this week. Okay. Ooh, Intel. Is Intel going to be speaking? Are they going to do anything? I like Intel at $20. I've said that before. I just like the stock, I like the company there. I do like Intel in general. As far as where it sits on the totem pole is how much I like it right now. It's not up there. I'll keep it at that. If I was in Intel at these levels, it would just be a hold. But anything you're holding through this, you have to understand if there's a storm coming, what's your get out point, and everyone thinks they're ready to weather a storm until it actually hits. You need to be actually ready. You need to envision this thing at $14. Imagine your account dropping $7 a share. It's almost 50% in Intel. Can you still sleep at night? Because if you can't, you're gonna be worried. Then you better come up with that line in the sand now. Let's do a few more. Apple we covered. Let's do Microsoft. I will say Microsoft is on the list this year. If we crash and Microsoft does anything other than go sideways, right now on screen we have, I guess this is February of 24. Microsoft's done nothing. It's gone up, it's gone down. You've been a happy investor. You got some dividends along the way. This one I'm excited to buy more in my account if we really get a discount. If the S&P pulls back 20%, where's Microsoft at? So kind of excited for that one. Along with that, AMD and Upstart right now are the two I'm really accumulating. But that being said, they're still in downtrends. It would be nice if AMD were to break 128 though. Break 128, then I think we're at least worried about that kind of 133 level next. Breaking that 120 mark, that 119 mark, you're probably looking at 104 next. I'm sure we'll have a little hiccup here at 112. Bull Butter. I like that name. Give me 1 second. It was AMD and Upstart. Now, again, I bought Upstart at this zone, great trade, and then it came back down. And I did not buy here because I do think it's going to continue. Now, I do have a video on YouTube on actually just Don Franz show talking about why I like Upstart. Financials aren't that good yet. It's just how their AI they use AI instead of the credit system. And I think people aren't paying their bills. That's on the rise. And what we're seeing now is as that's on the rise and those delinquencies, Upstart's not on the rise as far as delinquencies go. And by using AI to determine are you going to pay your bills back, is a way better system, I think, than your three credit bureaus saying this guy's got a 700 credit score. And how do you get that? You manipulate things. You pay off your credit cards under 20%. You keep a balance on there, but keep it under 20%. There are things you can do to manipulate your credit score. And then if that's what you're looking at, it's an easier system to game. And that's why I think a lot of people got money that probably shouldn't have. You know, they're probably at a higher risk than they're willing to believe. So I do think Upstart this next year is poised to shine as that really escalates. Brian says Bitcoin bubble. No, not even close. All right, United States Steel. Now they were going to get bought out by a Japanese company. Did that get canceled? Did Trump cancel that? Update regarding its acquisition. Okay, so you have to read that. Still in its channel up, but I would keep an eye on that. This was big because it's United States Steel. Not really going to be United States Steel if Japan buys it out, which is why I think we're seeing all that turbulence on that one. Working to be jobless. I do like that name. Man, this chat's moving. He just called it out. Thoughts on BBAI? It's got AI in there. It's got to be good. Big Bear AI. What is this? Engages in data-driven decision dominance and advanced analytics to provide its customers with competitive advantages in a world driven by data that is growing in terms of volume, variety, and velocity. This sounds like an episode of something. Big Bear AI. I wouldn't short it, but man, I would say it's gearing up. I mean, I'll let you decide. Here's what happened last time it shot up, shot right back down. One more time. These are what you call the middle finger pattern. Now, burn this into your head so you guys understand what the middle finger looks like. Okay, they don't feel good. There's the knuckles, there's the middle finger, and there's your account. It's the middle finger to your account if you're holding this particular ticker. All of the buzzwords. Yeah, it is. So this particular one, yeah, this looks like a pumping up. It's holding on a little bit better this time. If I thought the momentum was going to continue, I would probably need a big YouTuber behind it. I would need some kind of hype behind it. I would go in, I'd put my stop at 375. If it hits, it hits. If it sends it, I'll put my stop in the green and try to squeeze every penny I can out of it. Let's talk about the VIX that did get brought up earlier. VIX is kind of at a lower level. Again, you guys won't see me zone out the VIX. VIX is the volatility index, so every candle is red or green, right? Now, when the VIX is down here, the next candle going to be maybe a medium red or green. When it's above here, it's a big red or green candle. Just because the VIX is up does not mean your stocks are going down. It's not an inverse of the S&P. I really can't stand when people say that. But right now, it's down. You could be looking for a spike, but I can't tell you how many people have blown their account trying to play the VIX because they buy and they hold and they wait for an excuse that spooks the market, or they wait for the what's the best example? The scary movie. I always say the scary movie. It's only scary the first time you see it. So when an excuse comes out and really spooks the market, the VIX jumps, right, and then settles back down, and then they use that same excuse again, and the VIX just doesn't pop. It's because we've seen that before. There's no uncertainty. We kind of know. We know who's who. We know who's going to do what, and then it just comes right back down. So I don't know if that's a trap I would ever get myself into. We can check out the VVIX volatility of the VIX. Even that's down. I'd be careful holding this if I were you. I don't know why that drags so many people into it. I've never understood like the lure behind it. But at the same time, when I say I have literally helped hundreds, if not thousands of people that have tried to buy the VIX and hold it and blown their account. It is not an exaggeration or anything. Let's do a couple more. Rivian looks bullish, popped on good deliveries. Hey, someone's got to buy something, right? That's crazy. Tesla had bad deliveries and Rivian had good deliveries. Were they expected to sell like or deliver 4 and they delivered 5? Good job, Rivian. Not hating, but I am surprised. Technically speaking, if that were to pull back and hold that 15 zone, I would go long. I guess I would have to go long and put my stop at 1485. If that, however, did not happen, I would wait. I would need to wait and see how we hold this zone. 'Cause we could just blast right through that, and then if you want a knife catch at 13. Do I mostly day trade or swing? Mostly swing. Typically, my futures trades are day trades. And that's just because and here's the simple part of it, guys. I buy when it makes sense and I sell when it makes sense. I don't set out to day trade or swing trade. I just buy things that I like. And when they go up, I put my stop in the green and then I just trail it. So as long as it keeps going up, I stay in it. So there's times where I'll sell some options. I'll do an options trade and it's up 50% or 80% in the same day. Then yeah, I just close it before the bell. You can't really trail those. And then those are day trades. But yeah, other than that, most of the time I'm in futures. The stops are a little bit tighter. They tend to just tag out. A lot of my stocks trades, both options and just buying shares in general, are swing trades. You just make more money doing it. Scalping, and I'm not hating, but it's just for the birds. Like it's a bunch of little pigeons picking up bird seed. You end up taking 9,000 trades and you made $50. So I don't have that kind of time in my day. Do I recommend using prop firms? This is a good question. I was just having this conversation last night, as a matter of fact. Now, a prop firm is that fake money, right? If you're brand new, brand new, the idea of a prop firm, first of all, it's just an online casino disguised as a stock thing. You're not actually doing anything. Now, brand new, it teaches you that you need to follow rules. Teaches you that you need to have a system. It's the only thing you'll gain out of it. Because if you're using a prop firm, once you know how to trade, you'll understand those rules are garbage. They are there by design to make sure that you lose, you fail. Because how does the prop firm make money? They get your money up front. They get your money up front, and then you lose. You break one of the rules. You got to start over. You got to pay to start over. And it's just like going to a casino. The reason casinos are so profitable is because there's the illusion that you have money. You don't have any money at all. In fact, it takes 2.5 cents to make a casino chip, coin, token, just chips, right? 2.5 cents worth of plastic. That is a real number. Now, that piece of plastic with a sticker on it could say 100. It could say 50 cents. It could say 1,000. It could say whatever it wants, right? It's 2.5 cents is what its value actually is. You go to the casino and you give them your money, and then you just hang out. It's like going to an arcade. Is really all it is. You just think you have your money. Your money's literally already gone. So when you pay to sign up to that prop firm, they have your money. It's gone. Now go piddle away on some app. It's basically like watching a calculator with a number going up and down. You could do it for free if you had a calculator at home. Just close your eyes, type in some numbers, and just click plus or minus and see what it equals. But you do learn how to use rules, which is very important because a lot of people don't have rules or a system, and they just piss their money away regardless. If you have any kind of experience at all, I just don't know why you would use fake money if you knew how to trade. There's the prop firm of like YouTubers that are prop firms. And I don't know why. I get why. I mean, I know what they pay. I did a prop firm one time. And this kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because I had not taken a single loss. 100% win rate. I was killing it. And they reached out to me and said, I can have a paper account as well. That's fake, but looks like real, so my audience would never be able to tell the difference. It wasn't like I was losing and they were kind of reaching out to keep the business. No, I was literally not a single loss. And they reached out and told me that, which to me was extremely shady. Because at that point, now I'm just lying to you guys. And I did have a big problem with that. So I left that. So there is the how should you use it? Yeah, you pay your $50. I promise if you jump in with real money right now, you will lose more than the $50 that it costs to have a prop firm account. So you can kind of jump in, maybe get some experience, see how things move, see how you would do. It's a lot cheaper to lose that $50 than anything else. But once you get the groove, find your system, figure your thing out, then I would just be in real money. Don't have much money right now. Would it be better to trade with $1,000 or try a prop firm? Well, Harry, I started with 0 and I put in $150, which at one point was up to 16,000, but I'm holding AMD right now, so we're closer to 13 or 14 now. I crossed the $1,000 mark. It's slow. It took all year to do that. Now I started with 0 January 1st, took till about September. September's where things started really rolling. It depends on where you want your money to actually go. Because if you can turn your 1,000 into 0 pretty quick with the prop firm or real money, depends on how you want to go. If you're trying to turn that 1,000 into 2,000 tomorrow, pick a YouTuber, probably one with fire in the thumbnail, and they'll lead you to believe you're doing all right. Um, I would rather learn. I wouldn't put that money to work until I knew what its job was going to be. And just throwing it out there on the roulette table. Now, playing stocks it'll take you a little bit longer to lose it, because roulette only takes about 30 seconds for you to lose your money. They got flashing lights and you probably get a free drink. It really depends on your idea. Casey says, I'll put fire in the thumbnail. Don't worry. I don't want gamblers. I did not set out to attract a bunch of gamblers or kids. No offense to the younger crowd. I'm just saying, like, it's mind numbing and boring. If you have $1,000, you need to trade like you have $1,000, which means your week, though, and I get it, the weeks where you make 10 or 20 bucks, 5 days you made 20 bucks. Yeah, it sucks. But I will blow away anything you'll ever make in 1 year than you could on any of those. Because if you follow the hype guys, you could turn your 1,000 into 5,000, and that's cool. You'll be ahead of me for probably a week or two. And at the end of the year, you'll have nothing. I'll have 20,000. Mostly just slowly build, but take some money out from time to time, honestly. You're like the perfect candidate to follow my growth. The growth count is what I do. It's so I post every trade that I do in there. That's the one that I started from 0. And I did that to show off. Now that's for everyone that's on the Patreon or in my group. I did that to show off. There are stages to your trading. There's a way to trade when you have $1,000, and it's not 9 million day trades. It's slow, and I can't stress this enough. It is boring, and and then there's a way to trade me up 10,000. 10,000 is a mile marker. 30 is technically another big one, but after 50,000, you're killing it. You'll never get to that 50,000 if you go jack around and doing something stupid. And honestly, the gambling side of it is what I do call stupid. Okay, so if you gain 30K in crypto and wanted to start a long term, what would I mainly invest in? It would be the big names. I think we're going to be in an AI world, and that's a great idea for a YouTube video too, Alex. This next year, man, it's Meta, it's Nvidia, AMD, Google, Microsoft, Palantir. I'm hoping these get absolutely smoked so I can buy every one of them. Oh, ETFs or REITs. It'd be an ETF. I would try to, if I didn't know what I was doing, I would put it in the S&P. Plain and simple. I need 0 brain cells to put 30 grand into the S&P, and I don't care if it crashes. So what? It crashed back here, and it'll crash again. I need 3 brain cells to just open the app and work it, put 30 grand in there. If I put 30 grand at the peak, I'm still up. At this peak, I'm still going to be up in a year or two. So I would just do that. How large of an account would you need to make 6 grand a month? It depends on who you are. Depends on who you are and your risk appetite. I can make 6. There's days. If I come on here and say I had a great day, it's because I made 15,000 or more. A good day is like 5 to almost 15,000. That's in a day. You want to make 6 grand a month. And it's not account size, because there's quite a few ways to make 6 grand a month. The risk level is what changes. Now, if you want to take on less risk, there's never going to be an opportunity in the market where that scale does not affect the other side. So you want to get high risk, high reward, and you nail it, boom, 6 grand, easy. If you nail it. Now, you want to dial that back, you're going to need more capital. Making 0.5% a week is a cakewalk. I see Casey's rewinding, telling everybody on TikTok. If you are on TikTok, you can go to the YouTube channel. It is actually I have full screen on TikTok now. You can see the whole thing. But you can at least go to YouTube and rewind, because I do have to wrap it up. 87 of you guys here. 87 on YouTube. Ooh, 31 on TikTok. YouTube's got you beat this time. TikTok, where you guys at? I will say TikTok has 3,000 likes. YouTube, where you at? Hit the thumbs up button. Don't ever not do that again. Don't make me have that conversation with you guys. There were some great questions in tonight's stream, by the way. A lot of great questions that might just be in more videos later, as a matter of fact. All right. Anyway, I got to wrap it up. I'll see you all. We're back. So it's Wednesday. You'll see me again. If you're in my group, you're going to see me here in 2 seconds. We're going to go live on Zoom. I do Zoom Sundays and Thursdays, but I also go live every night before the stock market opens the next day. But for everyone here is on YouTube and TikTok, and that's as far as we get, perfectly fine. Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursday. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, whatever, and turn on those notifications. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.